What is going on, guys? Belleair here. Are you excited for FIFA E? Because I am. As of recording, this is going to start out tomorrow, and we have 16 countries who are going to be represented in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, somewhere that we've been quite a few times recently. We're on board with the Moroccan, Drali here, who's going to open up the scoring in this rematch between the New Look, Vitality, and Carmine Core rosters. Has 5 of these 6 players are actually going to be contending in the event tomorrow, outside of Exotic, who did not get the call for the French team. It's almost like France has a lot of good players to keep the world champion MVP off of their roster, but Drali is going to be playing alongside Nas and Itachi, so that is a stacked roster of many. And before we get through all the players on all the teams, the objective of today's video is to just go through and give a quick, power ranking of how we see the teams, some of the things that we are excited about for the event. And if you are just sitting there twiddling your thumbs and you're like, Belleair, could you give me something to do? I'm pretty bored. Why don't you let me know in the comments below if there is a specific team or player that you are most excited to watch in this event. For me, it honestly might be Drali. I've been watching a lot of him, and the dude can ball. He is a fun watch, that is for darn sure. So any list that is going to be ranking these teams has to start off with France, right? Is it worth it going through all the teams? You guys know where to find that stuff. Check out Wikipedia, and we can save some time on the video here. But let's just give a quick power ranking, and even further than just 1 through 16 power ranking, I've split these teams up into 6 groups that I think that they fall into. The first group is one team by itself, and that is France. Powerhouse of the world. Their team is ridiculous. I don't really think that we need to say too much about how high quality a Vatira, Monkey Moon, Zen roster is. This event feels like it's kind of theirs to lose, and if you're going to make an argument against that, it might start with the team cohesion of some existing rosters that is found in Tier 2, which consists of 3 teams. Saudi Arabia, the hosts, which is Team Falcons. And a quick aside, one of 5 teams who are running full rosters that they'll be bringing into the RLCS, and we'll talk through those as we get to them. I think Saudi Arabia, aka Falcons, are pretty rightfully the number 2 seed on my power ranking. Also within this same group is Morocco. Itachi, Nas, Drali, super strong lineup, and then Brazil, which is another one of those teams running a full RLCS roster in Team Furia. So Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Brazil makes up my second group. Third group, also 3 teams: England, Spain, and the United States, which is our full Gen G roster, formerly Luminosity, formerly RMC. They are going to be representing the United States after the initial team backed out. I think they deserve to be up here, as well as Spain and England, who are bringing some of the best talent that they have to offer. Certainly keeping my eyes out on that Spanish team. Might be one of my favorite rosters that we are going to see competing over the event. Group 4 is our biggest group. This is the wide middle. These are all teams that I know will be competitive. They could bomb out, or they could exceed expectations. It's just going to kind of depend on the draw and how the teams are looking on the day. To head up that list, I have Germany. I think that squad is really nice. I'm excited to watch them. Some players that I followed throughout the course of their careers. Then we have the Netherlands, the Dutchman, Australia, who is running a full team. I can't remember which organization is going to be representing that team, but that Torsas, Fever, and Gus lineup are going to be an Australian trio going into next RLCS season. Belgium, anybody who has Atau on a roster has to be kind of high, although they are not in the top half. I like Compact, I like Astral, but there's a lot of other teams and players that I like here as well. Then I have Chile and Argentina to round out the end of that group. Group 5 is a team all in of itself. That is South Africa. Limitless, formerly Limitless. Still Limitless? I don't know. They're the final full roster from the RLCS. And let's see if we can beat the buzzer here on our last 2 teams in the final group, Portugal and Turkey. I don't really know any of those 6 players very well, so they are pretty easy bottom of my list. And guys, look at that. That is perfect timing on game 1 to get through our power rankings. Drali is going to score another crazy one. Let's look back at this. Not that it really matters, but one for the road here. As this one just barely glances and stays in. Zen is going to help Drali out, keep that one up. And then Monkey Moon just is so good he can't keep the ball out of his own net. Drali had a game there. 2 goals and assists, 4 saves on 4 shots. We're going to watch one more game and just talk about some high-level stuff that has me excited about FIFAe. So let's go ahead and get right back onto the pitch. All right, let's close out this series with a Game 5. This is from the Login Championship, which actually was a FIFAe tournament, but just within South America. So this is Chile against Argentina, 2 of our teams who are going to be represented at FIFAe, with a lot of names that you might know if you've been watching South American Rocket League for a while. Even if you haven't been watching SAM, 2 names that definitely stand out. We are on POV of Razebull El Toro, who is really flopping around to begin this game, and he just narrowly missed a bump on his former teammate AJG, who is one of my favorite players of all time. But let's talk a little bit about what has me excited for this event, as Chile is going to open up the scoring here. Something that I've already heard is that the teams and the players are being treated very well in this event, and I think tournaments like this can ultimately have the unintended consequence of showing what a better version of the RLCS can look like. There's been a lot of tumult this off-season, a lot of things said, mostly negative, about the way that orgs and the scene is kind of being treated, and we knew that some of this is just natural growing pains from the ebb and flow of esports in general, probably growing quicker than it had the capacity to. Also, some of this is due to us changing our providers with Blast and how tournaments are led and things like that. But ultimately, if FIFAe goes well, I hope that it gives a little bit of guidance or small steps or iterations that can be added to the scene that will ultimately be useful to the game and the esport moving forward. Also, this is a huge partnership. This is FIFA we're talking about. It's obviously a little different than FIFA. It is some branch of theirs, but this is a huge partnership for our game to be included next to. One of the things that has always stood out about Rocket League when you compare it to some other esports titles that exist out there, or just gaming titles period, is that this one has the look and feel of a traditional sport that many others lack. And for us to be partnering up with an entity like FIFAe, that's exciting to me. That means that the game is showing up and still having life despite the growing pains that we've seen over the last couple of off seasons. And hopefully this adds some more legitimacy and is a notch in the belt as we move forward to try and develop and grow the esport in a general sense. Another thing that's really cool is something that I've been thinking about a lot, which is where Rocket League might find itself in a couple of years. We've seen a lot of tournaments pop up here and there. Most of them, many of them rather, are run by individuals. I think of somebody like Mr. Bepic, who is doing a lot of uh, collegiate Rocket League events. But the growth and development of the game as a tool for students, whether that be middle school, high school, collegiate, other tournaments and leagues that are run outside of an RLCS sanctioned setting, where you get to see our game in places that will allow it to grow just outside of this kind of one-off esport thing. And I'm kind of talking around this topic quite a bit, but I think if you're somebody who is afraid of the trajectory, the growth or lack thereof that we've been seeing over the last couple of seasons, a lot of people I have seen take on a pretty negative tone and just talk about it as like the esport is dying and it's going to be gone. Um, I don't really think that there's a lot of directions I could take this, but I think one thought that stands out is it's never really beneficial to be negative, just solely negative on something like this that's so speculative and is such an unknown. I think it's beneficial to have positivity, and if you're going to present a problem, also present some form of a solution. Just because the RLCS, this like one very specific entity, and granted it is the most important entity to me. I like Rocket League, but I love the RLCS. If that is going to have some growing pains, the continued growth and development of something like a FIFAe or leagues that we see around Europe for, teams that are primarily in Germany or something along those lines, or a login championship that's representing all of these countries, or these high school and collegiate tournaments that we're starting to see grow more and more. I think FIFAe just does a good job of adding an extra option to the way that the game can grow and develop and be spotlighted and to be beneficial outside of just an RLCS context. So I'm pumped for this event. I think we have a lot of really good teams. There's some excellent storylines coming in. What are Gen G, now Gen G, going to look like representing the United States after the former team backed out? Are France the frontrunners that we think they are? Or are these Falcons and Furia rosters that know each other very, very well going to surprise us? Are there going to be any shocks from that big middle group? Is a Germany or a Belgium or a Netherlands going to look way better than anticipated? Are we just writing off these Portuguese and Turkish teams because we don't know who any of the players are? Every team here has a storyline. I hope that you guys are as excited as I am. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out the content. And guys, until next time, take it easy.